A statement charging someone of committing a criminal act, such as fabricating a criminal charge against another or making a false report to an official agency, is libel per se.
Denims announces she's suing me for defamation, for saying that I think that I hold her personally, I personally, in my opinion, hold her responsible for the CPS thing, which is obvious based on the call.
Well, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I can't do a lawyering here, but that does help the case, right? Denims is apparently going to be suing Ethan Klein. I suppose I should watch the video on that because I haven't seen the details behind the scenes.
I wanted to show you guys this.
Can't believe I felt bad for you. By the way, Anissa reached out. She wants to meet at the Motel 6 tonight at 11.
Excuse me?
Because I'm gonna fuck him for her? Because she's the cuck? No good?
Okay, Ian?
Him.
Right.
Anissa reached out to me.
You know, the first time that you made the Anissa the cuck joke.
Wait, what? Sorry. I was busy doing the title here and trying to change the title. Maybe the context as to why he's saying this?
I wanted to show you guys this.
Can't believe I felt bad for you. By the way, Anissa reached out.
Ethan Klein makes a disgusting joke about having sex with iDubbbz's wife and echoes harassment iDubbbz and his wife have been victims of for years.
She wants to meet at the Motel 6 tonight at 11.
Excuse me?
Because I'm gonna fuck him for her? Because she's the cuck? No good?
Okay, Ian?
Him.
Right.
Anissa reached out to me.
You know, the first time that you made the Anissa the cuck.
Wait. Okay, first off, embarrassing enough just being called out by your own producers. That one's oof. But then the second part, did you try to make this woke by making it bi? was that the 4D chess you were doing here? Yeah, that's why I'm going to have sex with him. Yeah, hopefully consensually. What? With his wife? No, with him. Well, his wife has to watch. Making her the cuck. How's that? Swing and a miss. Weird.
Well, it hit really good.
Well,
I feel like each subsequent one we're getting further and further.
What was wrong with the one with that? I thought that
it just sounded weird. Kind of creepy.
Well, it is. That's her thing. I wasn't going to show up, by the way.
Oh, you can't see my cursor. Hold up. Let me.
Oh, that was a good save at the end there. Yeah, but the joke is that I'm too good for this scenario. That's the punchline. Yeah, nailed it.
Whatever, you can't see my cursor, but I have this. What's he looking at? Ah, why did my fucking thing just disappear? Okay, what's he looking at? Oh, trying to resist the button. The joke didn't land.
What was wrong with the one with that? I thought that
it just sounded weird. Kind of creepy.
That's so true. Had it been for that button, we'd never know this clip existed, right? If you just smashed it. I mean, what are you paying $20,000 for if you're not going to use it?
Well, it is. That's her thing. I wasn't going to show up, by the way.
Okay.
I was going to send fake Ethan.
Jewish. It is really the Green Goblin mask. The button calls to him like the ring to Gollum. Forget about the ring. It's the Green Goblin mask, dude. That's how it calls to him. He's like, I need to press the button. I need to press it. Do it, coward.
That is a ridiculously terrible joke and pretty gross, but I want to see the lawsuit.
5 p.m., a letter was sent to him and his lawyer.
You are one of...
What's the button? Well, effectively, what I understand is that the button is capable of both pausing the stream and cutting the stream before the delay that you get from broadcasting. So when you live stream, you're actually watching me about 20 seconds in the past. Like what I'm saying right now, in 20 seconds will have arrived in your computer. So you get that little 20-second buffer. So say I had said something totally inappropriate, and I was like, oh my God, and I don't want the world to hear it. Getting the $20,000 button that they installed apparently allows you to do that. So you can just sit there and you can push it, and then it could save you if you just can't control yourself from dropping slurs constantly or other shit like that. Again, it's not something that I think that like everybody is worried about. You know, like I've survived for five or 6 years now without a button. So in that I've saved, I guess, $20,000. But I suppose if like you spent maybe the first 3 or 4 years of your internet career and fame just constantly being a racist edgelord, then yeah, speaking live in a stream for hours and hours and hours might be a little more complex as you're sitting there trying to figure out like, oh wait, how am I supposed to, is this offensive? Is this going to get me canceled? What do I do now? Blah, blah, blah. And if it's so bad that you need a button, like, again, I think it's like, maybe you just gotta start practicing not saying the dehumanizing slurs all the time in your everyday life. That's the only thing I can think of, right? Like, it's kind of like the PewDiePie condition. Like, I'm assuming PewDiePie says the N-word a lot in his like private life, so much so that when he's gaming, it just suddenly happens. Like the gamer moment, the phenomenon of that, it most likely is coming from people who use those terms a lot in everyday life, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, blast! I mean, shoot! Good save. But lawyer up, Ethan Klein. Our law firm is legal counsel to social media commentator and content creator Denims. It's come to our attention that in response to an apparent Child Protective Services visit to your home in and around March 2025, you published numerous false statements on your YouTube channels, H3 Podcasts, H3H3 Productions, which reach millions of viewers and listeners, stating either that Denims herself filed the preceding CPS report about you, resulting in the improvident CPS visit to your home. Sorry, I'm not book smarts. Technically, yes, but not practically. Or that Denims caused others to do so. Amongst other things you stated, March 7th, 2025, Denims is participating in this CPS lie.
3 people I know that drinks Hind water. It's just boneless juice.
It is boneless juice. And if other people don't want to
Water
stand up to you,
juice.
I am happy to do so. All right. You might want to stop posting about Hassan Piker on your Instagram story and, I don't know,
Taste of
actually
his own medicine.
address the real shit that's happening in your life. So I got in contact with a lawyer
Wake up, Ethan.
to issue this demand for a public retraction of false publication. Let me read it to you guys. Dear Mr. Klein, our law firm...
Oh, I just read this part. All right, we'll get to the part I haven't read.
My house. She is directly linked to CPS coming to my house, doing what she did,
streaming.
being like, oh, let's call CPS. He's an abuser. He neglects his children. Like, we need to call CPS, end quote, etc., etc. Girl who accused me of leaving shit on the floor and that CPS should be called. She did CPS, remember that. Talking about your friends, propagating CPS, coming to my house to take my kids away, end quote. April 21st. Again, in reference to Denims, you said, you don't lie about people's kids and have CPS go to their house. These are just examples. The list is very long. And people who have been around for as long as they've been around,
Denims is
over the past couple months, you know that this is just the tip of the iceberg on the number of times that he has accused me for this. Among
Wake up, Ethan Moncaster.
Well, not only that, I mean, there's actual full clips I can show you, for example, like this one.
This is a live feed of the chat. This
So-
isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were
No, it's
selected.
this. I think when you full screen it. No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged.
Oh,
there,
really?
Over the screen, yeah.
Did you catch that last clip? Yep, his employee just tried to show him that he's wrong, and he ignored it because he's lying. The clip is deceptively edited. He's doing it again. At this point, I don't know if he's watched a single real video of me. Let's see that again. Look at the chat in the top right corner.
He has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit. And
Love
God
made
forbid,
a good point. You
I don't
said,
know
"Is
what to
this
do with it.
every comment?" I believe this is a live feed of the chat. This
So-
isn't edited.
What
So if you're curious as to what's taking place here, this is 2 separate chats. The line of separation between the two, or the opaque line, is going to be right here. And then, so this is a live chat featuring the stream, and then this is a separate chat, and then they're edited together to make it look as if, hey, so this was the terrible things that prove that your chat was not only okay with the call to CPS that endangered our children, but also that you may have been antagonizing them to do that. And so this is part of the evidence towards, I believe, that it was Denims that did this. Now, if you want to fast forward to now where, you know, basically Hassan and Ethan had their, you know, what was it, 17 or 18 hour debate. In the middle of that debate, Ethan ended up admitting that he has absolutely no idea who called CPS on him. And considering that there is video live streams of Ethan telling in disgusting detail about how he had gotten diarrhea, giardia, as well as the rest of his family, and that his children got it and his whole family got it, and he believes it comes from infecting one another, and that this may have come from one source or another. Like all this shit. saying that out loud to audiences of 20 or 30 or 40,000 people, I mean, you could make a strong case that there could be someone who was watching you at that time who was the person who called CPS on you. It could have been, yes, a hater. It could have been a parasocial fan. It could have been anybody. But to then claim that it was this specific content creator that you disagree with to be able to, again, fuel a lot of hatred and, you know, potentially people trying to get our channels taken down is obviously very dangerous. So that's why I believe Denims is doing this.
I will say, yesterday night, sorry, two things. First, I will say, you know you're on the winning side when you say, okay, he might be right, but financially he will destroy you, so back off.
At Denims Hello Madam Jeans, this is Ethan Klein's attorney speaking. I am coming to you with an offer of mutual takesy-backsies. Agreed?
New Pope was just announced.
Chronic copium users.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have an edited version of this, so it's live
A lot
streaming.
of people have been concerned that defamation is difficult to prove damages for, but there is such a thing as per se, which means that you don't have to prove damages, or that damages are less important to prove. Accusing someone of a crime, libel per se. Also, yes, for anyone who would like to help me with these legal funds, please keep your name private. I would please keep your name anonymous. I have seen that people have been getting doxxed, people who've been donating to charity. So yeah, if you are considering helping me in this, I would suggest staying anonymous if you can. And for me, a big part of it is that at this point, I think the people who I care about know that Ethan Klein is a prolific liar, but I think it is unbelievably insane and cruel that no one can really stand up to Ethan because he has so much more money than everybody else, and that there are no consequences for him. Now,
She's going after a different kind of defamation that doesn't rely on financial ruin as being important. She probably does have a case there anyway. Well, my understanding, and I'll go over the GoFundMe in a second, is that like is often asked of by people like Ethan Klein right now, she's asking for a retraction and an apology, right? And you know, should that happen and there's no case even required, then the entire thing's just gonna get refunded. But like that's basically, I think, as of this point where it's at.
there have been some consequences with regard to the Kavanaugh case, but clearly he hasn't learned from that at all. And I don't think it is fair that he feels comfortable lying about whoever he wants, accusing people of crimes, blaming people for his inability to not shut the fuck up on his show and get away with it. So let's continue. Very important to reiterate again. And yeah, I was banned for a month because he reached out to advertisers to get a bunch of Arab streamers banned for saying that he didn't have the Habibi pass and that Sabra hummus was bad. So let's continue. Pertinent here.
Ethan's already saying that he won't retract. He's doubling down. Wow, no surprise there.
A statement charging someone of committing a criminal act, such as fabricating a criminal charge against another or making a false report to an official agency, is libel per se. Perhaps the clearest example of libel per se is accusation of a crime, referencing a separate suit. In particular, Penal Code 11172A makes it a crime to make a false or unsupported report to CPS. Here are these statements that Denims is responsible for and participated.
I'll tell you, and then I'll move right on. Everybody is probably expecting me to talk about this Denims. Denims announces she's suing me for defamation, for saying that I think that I hold her personally, I personally, in my opinion, hold her responsible for the CPS thing, which is obvious based on the call.
Well, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I can't do a lawyering here, but that does help the case, right? He said out loud to Hassan, and this was just what I assumed, by the way, as long as this whole story's been going on, I've just in my head been like, you have no idea who did this, clearly, right? Like, how many times has Tim Pool been swatted? Like the guy at the size that all of you are, you know, these monstrously huge streamers. There's also like a huge amount of like hate and you know, people who target you and people who try to cancel you. If you go after one community, like he's gone after Keemstar's community, he's gone after the Quarterings community. Those are communities of people who are going to try and take your channels down in one way or another. And so they're going to find anything they can to try and weaponize and use against you. Could very well be be them. But just like at the end of the day, what is like assured is that you just don't know, right? And then he admitted that. He said that out loud. He's just like, look, I have no idea who made the call. And then it's like, well, yeah, of course, right? Yeah, like, but continuously saying, oh, I'm pretty sure it was Denims. I'm pretty sure Denims did this. So everyone who's really mad about this and angry, just make sure, you know, you let everyone know who you're mad at.
So she thought it would be wise to sue me, the victim of her fucking insane incompetence. Stupid fucking dumbass. She's the dumbest person alive. I actually genuinely think, well, I don't know. iDubbbz gives her a run for her money. I mean, I want to destroy her. I'm going to ruin her life, probably. And the good thing about that is that she, just remember who shot the first shot. She's suing the victim of her crime. So, like,
he's just saying it out loud. She's suing the victim of her crime. I have no idea who Denim's lawyer is, but like, you got to be having a good day. Got to be like, oh, thank you, neat. Yeah, no, definitely, I will take that. Definitely more evidence. Thank you.
When I say I'm going to ruin her life, obviously, I just want to put her in financial ruin.
Aren't you just laying out a case? I want to destroy her financially by continuing to spread a malicious rumor that I know with willful intent could be wrong. I've said as much, that she happens to have been committing a crime that I also know she's not directly responsible for. Wow. Man, there are times when I wish I had just a little bit more legal training so I could sit here and be like, as someone who couldn't pass the bar due to, you know, the incredible amount of drugs and, you know, the scandals that I was embroiled in, I do have enough expertise to be able to tell you that, oh, he's fucked now. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, let me just tell you. I mean, obviously, I got to tell you that I'm not a lawyer. I, again, could not pass the bar. But, yeah, that's bad. That's real bad.
In the filing of a false child protective services call, which you made.
Calling CPS isn't the same as swatting. No, it's not. But like, in both cases here, no one knows who did this, right? Like, and on any given day, in one of the many police encounters that say like Tim Pool or the Quartering has had, he could have gone on his show the next day and blamed any leftist he hated for that. And I, you know, obviously in some cases, some people do that, right? But like, when you have absolutely no idea who did it, you're just using it as or weaponizing it as a way to go after your enemies for completely unrelated matters. People who, yes, are making fun of you and mocking you on a regular basis. You're then like, oh, okay, well, that person I think is probably responsible, even if I don't have any evidence to that.
First made in March and repeated during recent episodes in April, directly states and otherwise insinuates that Denims is guilty of violating Penal Code 11172. Thus, you have committed libel per se against my client, and you are subject to all resulting civil liability exposures, including the full range of compensatory and special damages. Notably, your false inflammatory accusations against Denims have resulted in gravely concerning and threatening communications from the public, including presumably loyal members of your audience being directed towards my client. These communications have caused severe and sustained emotional distress to my client. Denims has been directly harmed in other ways, such as, I will pull up this statement, in other ways as well, including substantial reputational damages and potentially financial harm to her business platform. And I think this is a good opportunity, by the way, chat. You guys already know my stance about tapping the glass. You already know how I feel about interacting.
God damn, ACAB forever. Thank you so much. That's 10 people just got a gifted sub. Hey, 10 of you just got a free gifted sub from ACAB forever. Give ACAB forever a big thank you. It's very generous of you.
With the insane people in Ethan Klein's audience, I don't think you should tap the glass. I don't think you should interact with them. But for those who would like to, and those who have seen comments accusing me of CPS, please feel free to screenshot those, whether it's on my Instagram, whether it's on his Instagram,
NML.
his YouTube video, his live stream, my Twitter page, either of my Twitter pages, any comments that you see that blame me for CPS. Again, do not interact with these people. Please feel free to screenshot them. I'd like to have a nice full document that shows that people believe this, which is why I've been saying to everyone who has been coming in here and saying that you're not helping your boy, Ethan Klein. And the best place to send it, we will have a channel in the Discord called Ethan Klein Lied, and you are welcome.
So, let's check out Ethan Klein lied. But first, we turn to the most reliable source for news on the internet. Denim sends Ethan Klein legal letter demanding a retraction for his remarks, linking her to the CPS controversy. Look at how this is phrased. It's just like, I think you're really leading strong, to say the least, with an agenda here. But I'm sure it'll be unbiased. On her May 7, 2025 Twitch stream, Denim shared that she had a legal letter sent to Ethan Klein demanding a retraction for his remarks linking her to the CPS controversy earlier this year. For context, Ethan claimed on March 8, 2025 that Child Protective Services had been called to his house after an anonymous tip. After Denim's made certain remarks about the incident, you're not going to... Okay, just leave that nice and vague. Certain remarks were made. Klein would go on to hint that he would be suing for defamation. However, it seemed that Denims has taken legal action first, having sent a letter demanding that Ethan Klein retract his comments made on the H3 podcast and on social media with a link to the political Twitch streamer to the CPS call. She also shared a link to a GoFundMe page to raise money to prosecute Ethan in the case that he does not retract his statements. The introduction of the legal demand for the retraction reads as follows. It has come to our attention, yes, we read that already, Denims demands for retraction letter accuses Ethan Klein of libel. Denim's legal letter to Ethan Klein includes several examples that accuse the latter of linking the former to the CPS controversy. One such example reads, on March 11, 2025, you, Ethan, repeatedly insinuated that Denims was responsible for the CPS call, labeling her, quote, the real villain of the video. You also stated she has been a real nasty, pathetic line, just like a horrible, disgusting person because you believe she was behind the CPS call. On April 18, 2025, making reference to Denims, you, Ethan, said, terrorist sympathizers who support CPS coming and taking my children away, she's directly responsible for CPS coming to my house. That's pretty clear.
You are one of 3 people I know that drinks Hind water. It's just boneless juice.
It is.
This is just the clip we were watching from before. The letter goes on to accuse Ethan Klein of libel. The relevant part of the document quotes from the California Civil Code, saying your Ethan Klein's defamatory statements in reference to and about Denims constitutes libel per se. A libel, which is defamatory of the plaintiff without necessary of an explanatory manner, such as inducement, innuendo, or the intrinsic fact is said to be libel on its face. The letter continues with Denims demanding that Ethan Klein retract his false statements about her and issue a correction for the next 10 days on his official YouTube channel. We request that you immediately retract your false statement about Denims by publishing a correct statement that you are not aware of any evidence that Denims was responsible for or otherwise participated in any CPS communications concerning you or your family. These are not difficult demands, by the way, just putting that out there. I know Ethan has already responded and said on the show, not only responded, he just like fucking quadrupled down on everything. He was like, oh no, she was responsible. And not only was she responsible, that, you know, I'm going to try and really damage her financially. That's my goal, to do that. Damage her financially by stating that she was responsible for this crime. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this out loud. I don't know if this hurts or helps my case, but I'm doing that right now. I wonder if like the entire staff was sitting there being like pointing at the button, just push the button, please, button. We further request that the foregoing retraction and correction be made within the next 10 days and that the corrective statement be published on both the H3 podcast channel and the H3 Productions channel. Ethan Klein has yet to address the allegations publicly. Not anymore. It's been updated. That said, he and Mudahar sent a similar demand retraction to a YouTuber earlier this year about a video regarding content creators alleged supporting genocide. That would be one Noah Sampson. So this is it. Currently already at 18,000. Goddamn. Well, Denims, I think. Oh, sorry, 21,000. I believe this is going forward. It is expensive to sue people in the United States. Oh my word. Huh. I'm not like thinking this is an obscene amount of money in terms of like, is it realistic? Yeah, probably. I'm guessing this is how much lawyers charge for something of this nature, to try and take it all the way to court, to get it read by a judge who decides whether or not the case has merit, then open it up for discovery. Discovery would be interesting, definitely. And then, yeah, have it go forward. Ethan Klein lied to me about supporting CPS coming to my home. If he doesn't retract this, GoFundMe is for legal fees to hold him responsible for his lies. If he retracts the GoFundMe, will be refunded. My legal notice to Ethan and debunking CPS lies about me. I believe we watched that clip already, right? Yeah, we watched this video before. It
Denims, by the way, would
go through a lot of wild stuff too. Like some of the biggest ones being just like, you know, the clips one, that one's really, really bad. Saying that like this chat is the exact same chat that clearly has been edited to show 2 different chats. That one's really bad. My involvement, the CPS clip.
You said, is this large? Literally disproving herself on her own stream and then ignoring what just came out of her mouth 5 seconds earlier.
Oh, Lion Klein. I'm honestly shocked people still take this guy seriously. Let's do some quick math. Here are the first and last frames of the video that he played. I searched for the top and the bottom messages in my Chatterino history. The first one is line 14,472. The second is 15,428. And they're 5 minutes apart. That's 956 messages in 5 minutes. He showed 65 messages, which is less than 7% of the messages from that time period. The funniest thing is that only 3 of those 65 messages are ever even on the screen in the 2-minute video that he featured. So now I'm sure you're wondering why someone would go through so much trouble to painstakingly Photoshop all these chat messages together to make it look like they happened at around the same time instead of over the course of the full 5 minutes. And if only 3 of those 65 messages were in that clip, when did the rest happen? Well, it happened when I watched this clip from his podcast.
Olive has Giardia, which is it's a bacterial infection.
Yeah, we don't need to go through this clip again. It's gross. You can watch the many videos that use it as proof that he was talking about this well before. Apparently there was
You're not a very thorough hand washer.
If any of you catch Giardia, okay, I will give you $10,000.
Man, that clip is still gross no matter how many times I hear it.
Yes.
I am glad I haven't eaten anything since I started making this video. Now, it's one thing to be so stupid that you don't quarantine your highly contagious sick dog when you're a multi-millionaire, and it's another thing to tell people about it. I mean, who in their right mind...
Or that other clip we saw the other day where he's like in the middle of talking to someone and then like finds a giant dog poo like at his feet near the computer, and he's like, oh my god, there's a giant fucking calcified dog shit there. You just think, why are you telling the world this?
would share this disgusting story with their audience. And Ethan, do you really want to be held responsible for what a small fringe of people in your community say? I mean, take this guy, who had the audacity to comment.
Obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe, look this guy up. Enjoy hell. I feel like this one's real. We caught you, Joe. Public-facing account.
Joe.
I see you. You wanted to be cute. Let's see it. Nice mustache. Which one's Joe? Let's see. I think it's this guy.
I still can't believe
that's
him.
That's him right there. Trust me, when I see an anti-Semite, I know I can spot him.
Wow, spot him from a crowd.
That's him. So I don't know if you guys all know that, but your friend Joe here actually is a fucking giant racist piece of shit. And like he likes to tell Jewish people they're going to hell on Instagram on his public profile. I don't know if any of you guys know.
Just by the way, this is like if I opened up my Twitter live right now in front of all of you and just started going through the replies to people who were saying shitty things about me, of which there are a lot. And then you click on one of the replies, and then I started going live on stream into looking up that person's social media history and profile. And then someone is like, hey, by the way, we have the Instagram. I'm like, oh shit. And then I put the Instagram up on screen. I'm like, look at this. Oh, here's pictures of this person's family. Here's pictures of this person's mom. Yeah, this person is definitely a massive ass racist. I'm putting them on blast right now. And you'd be like, what are you doing? What are you using your platform for? Why are you doing this? Like, it's just some random person who just randomly commented. Yeah, I mean, when you're super famous on the internet, I imagine there's going to be a lot of people who take offense to basically the positions you have taken in relation to Israel and Palestine. And there's going to be a lot of people who are mad about that. People who used to be your fans and people who are now disgusted by that are upset. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, fuck, we'll put you on blast instead. The tables have turned. How dare you respond to my takes?
There's Denims on the floor. And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions. And I says, you're not fucking doing that.
No,
I mean, we both were like, that's not happening. You're not going.
Terrifying.
You are not doing that. So he agreed to come visit our house
next week
when the kids are at home because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories. Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. There's a wide variation about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. I know we're getting into the weeds here, so I'll keep it simple. I was talking about childhood amnesia. It is just true that a vast majority of adults cannot recall inconsequential memories that happened when they were children. Most people can recall 3 or 4 memorable experiences, but not much more than that. I didn't say anything about trauma, which is a completely different topic entirely. Despite this, Ethan Klein has tried to use this clip as a way of pretending like I excused calling CPS. It would be insane if I said the exact opposite 30 seconds later.
Wild reach.
Right? Now, surely Ethan has more respect for his audience than to just lie to them over and over again so that they can do his bidding, right? Nope. Here is the full clip from my stream. And the craziest part is, he admits it on his show days after because he does not respect his audience or even his employees for a moment. Yes, what is it, Meerkat? Yes. I agree.
Deanbo, do you have any idea how traumatic it is to have the authorities randomly showing up to your house at night, going through all your things, accusing you of crimes you didn't do? No one should be subjected to such treatment.
Sure, but we're talking about not cops showing up at your house. We're talking about CPS, which anyways, to begin with, 1, I don't condone. 2, I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I think CPS should be exclusively used for family vloggers who are total fucking pieces of shit that use their kids as content. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times, or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids. I think it is actually very cool of him to try his best to not have his kids in photos, in videos. I respect that a lot. I think he's a piece of shit, and I think he's going insane and he's crazy, but I respect a lot that he doesn't bring his kids on camera and use them for content.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
Maybe she should think about issuing an apology and retraction.
Or at least saying calling CPS is fucking crazy. Don't do
Is it that hard? Oh no, what she does kind of, she goes, after being like, Ethan's the worst person in the world, and like, yeah, his kid, watching Bad Amp, and I'll be like, yeah, his kids crawl around and eat shit, and her whole entire chat being like, call CPS, but she'd be like, obviously don't call CPS. It's like, yeah, right.
The thing is, these people are knowingly lying. They know that they're lying. It makes no sense what they're saying, but they do it anyway.
So let's recap. He knows the chat logs are edited, and he knows that I denounced calling CPS on him. So why would anyone in their right mind continue pushing this narrative? Well, because then he would have to take accountability for what he said on his show. You know, years ago, he had Bill Burr on his podcast, and he had said this.
Oh, it seems like you're in love with your daughter, hearing you talk about her on the podcast.
Jesus Christ. Well, you're pretty perceptive. Seems like you care about your own child.
Listen, more than that, okay? Because again, you're this character. You gush over your daughter. Not everyone gushes. Did your dad gush over you?
I mean, I was too little. Yeah, no, my dad actually at work did. At work, that's when I learned, like, oh my God, yeah, he really likes us. But when he came home, yeah, he was cracking the whip. How's your bed mate? You doing your study?
It's good to see
well,
you.
why not?
I'm checking
that
Maple
shit.
channel.
And he also had a zillion kids, so I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will somehow
by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it. Is there any way you can cut this out? I'm honest, dude. Like,
seriously?
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, there's fucking lunatics out there.
Okay.
Whoa.
Off the air, I'll tell you.
All right.
Jeez. I love how surprised he is. Jeez.
Well,
There's
you can
actually-
mention the amount.
There's absolutely crazy people out
Okay.
there.
All right. I don't know why that took out so.
But the thing is, he doesn't want to take accountability for anything that he said. The most annoying thing is that all of this is just beef for Ethan Klein. Family and people's kids aren't a hard line for him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have defended his harassment campaign against a random TikToker that told him to go to hell, which caused his fans to send rape threats to this guy's 16-year-old sister. Maybe there's some other reason Ethan is focusing on me.
That she believes that it's justified to break up our family. This disgusting fucking human being who's endorsed by Hassan.
He's kind of being like Ethan deserves it. I know I'm putting some words into his mouth.
Yeah.
I think Ethan is using this negative experience as a vector to attack the people he wanted to attack anyways. I didn't make him overshare, and I was far from the only person to cover this story. Honestly, I think Hassan put it best, so I'll just let him take over from here.
The only thing I've done so far in terms of...
So, someone's asking where do I think it's going to go? I mean, I would assume that most people have seen something like this from a business perspective. If you were as falsely accusatory as it seems like Ethan is, then I don't know why you wouldn't just do the cheapest, easiest thing ever, which is just to be like, I retract my statement. I have no evidence that she called CPS, and if I had evidence that she called CPS, I would have presented it by now. I've said multiple times on camera, I don't know who did it, so for me to continue to accuse her of doing it is, you know, unfair, whatever it is, but like, yeah, I guess he's just gonna go to battle. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Again, you know, it's times like this. I wish I had any actual legal training outside of being able to have to go onto a website and be like, you know, the bar for defamation is apparently very, very high in the US of A. It's a very difficult thing to prove. I do not know if there's any way to say that someone has an open and shut case, even if it is very clear that he's saying multiple times on camera, because there's going to be that defaulting to, oh, he's joking. There were jokes. It's a comedy show. He was joking the whole time. He's even joking when he says that he's going to ruin her financially and that she's the one who personally did the phone call. Even if he says that out loud, he's joking. The whole thing's a joke. Yeah, so he was joking on his comedy show. It's not defamation, you know.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/theserfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.